Welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast, where we'll talk about spirituality, the paranormal, religion, and my journey in becoming a Mormon medium. I'm Nanette and Brad. Thanks for listening, and let's go have some fun.
Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. There's a moon overhead, but the sun will rise. Blood on our lips, such a poisonous bite. The sound of our hearts go bump, bump, bump in the night.
Hello and welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast. I'm Brad, and I'm here with Nanette, the Mormon Medium.
Hey guys, I hope you had a good week.
Me too. Do you know, it sounds very robotic. Like I could probably take that opening and just splice it in every single week.
You probably could.
I don't think I change it at all. I need to start becoming a little more original.
You are original, baby.
Yeah. Does that mean I'm old? Is that what you're saying now?
No, I'm always 7 years older than you, so I can't be saying that.
Right. Talk about OG. Nan is the OG. Original gangsta.
Gangsta. Spiritual gangsta.
Yep. She's a spiritual gangsta. I love it. So today on our Spiritual Gangsta podcast, we're going to talk about a trip that Nan and I took to Pennsylvania. It's a little bit of a ghost story.
It's a lot of bit of a ghost story.
It's a lot of ghost story.
And this is a shout out to Brad's mom. She asked us to do this. So we're going to tell this story.
Yeah, she had actually brought up, oh, you guys need to talk about that Pennsylvania trip and the bed and breakfast you stayed in. And so here you go, Mom. This one's for you.
So many of you may not know, but Brad's job isn't actually a stripper, although we do tell everybody he is a stripper. But his job actually takes him to different factories throughout the United States and Canada. And he does risk management for this company and goes to different factories and kind of helps with safety and risk management. And so during his job, we traveled to Pennsylvania. And I'd never been to Pennsylvania other than during the police unity tour when we stopped off in Philadelphia and in the middle of the night. And I got to actually sneak in because we had police hookups. Got to sneak in and see the Declaration of Independence. And so I got to see the Liberty Bell and I actually got to lick it.
I don't know why you would want to lick the Liberty Bell. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I know, it's really weird. I know.
I licked the Liberty Bell. Do you know how many millions of people have touched this?
No, actually,
Gross.
they don't let people touch it. That's the crazy thing. They don't let people touch it anymore. It's all gated off and you can't go touch it. But the police let us touch it. And I don't know. I have this thing about it. Like when we got married, your ring wouldn't go on and I licked your ring.
Yeah, but so I was like all swollen from the heat.
I know. But it's like I claim you when I lick you.
Oh, boy. So many places that could go.
Oh, do not even do that. We are not 14 right now.
So, yeah, apparently Nan licked the Liberty Bell.
The Liberty Bell, yeah. But that's the only time I've ever been to Pennsylvania. So the trip with you, I got to see a whole new different part because Philadelphia is a city.
Philadelphia is very different from the rest of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a beautiful state. It's so green.
It's so lush. Yeah. So beautiful. And those dream beautiful houses. Oh, yeah. Those are like some of my dream houses.
Yeah, just the beautiful colonial, just absolute gorgeous craftsmanship.
Yes. And I loved at night, those houses would have candles in each window.
Yeah.
Of the house. And that's always been kind of a dream I've always wanted to do. Even at the farmhouse, I used to do that.
Yep.
Candles in each one. So I must have lived another lifetime where I lived there because that's weird.
Yeah. You might have to explore that a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit more past life regression, I guess.
Right. Well, and look, when I learned I was going on this particular trip, I asked Nan if she wanted to go. And she's like, yeah, I think I would like to. When I told Nan that one of the places I was going to go was Hershey, Pennsylvania, she was a little bit excited.
Chocolate!
Yeah, she was excited. She was like, oh, I want to do that. I'm like, yeah, they've got the Hershey factory there. You can go on a tour. And she actually did go on a tour of the Hershey factory.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Didn't
So
you get
cool.
to make your own Hershey bar?
I got to make my own bar. Yeah. It was not good. I'm a little too creative.
Nan is not a good chocolatier.
Yeah, the chocolate was great. It was just the stuff I added to it, not good.
What did you put in it?
Oh my gosh, it was a kind of fruit and the nuts. If I would have just stuck with the nuts, I would have been fine. But the fruit didn't taste good with it. So I was like, bad choice.
So when you're making a chocolate bar, don't make it like a fruitcake.
No. I was being creative though, so I figured, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
More is better, right? No. Just simple.
I love it. Yeah, I didn't get to go on the tour because I was working. And that's kind of the thing. Like when she goes on a work trip, she sits around a lot while I go to work, unless she gets an Uber and goes somewhere. So I started finding unique places that we'd be able to stay that were near where I would be working. So I wouldn't have to travel a long ways to get to work. It was really hard the first few days because we stayed in a tiny little town called Mercersburg. And
Sleepy town.
very sleepy town. There's not much there. There's a couple of restaurants, a couple of bed and breakfasts, an old inn, a tire shop, a tattoo shop, and
An academy.
Yeah, they have like this Mercersburg Prep Academy, which is, a big prestigious Christian school.
For high school.
Yeah,
students.
like a high school prep school. It's super cool. The campus was gorgeous. We got to go there.
Well, and the cathedral there, just gorgeous craftsmanship. Just gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful area. But
Yeah.
the place we stayed at was an old mansion. It was turned into a bed and breakfast. And so we stayed there. And Nan was like, well, I want to do some writing, so it'll be perfect. I can just sit down and just relax while you're gone, and I'll write. And so I felt good about that. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I hate leaving her there. She's just going to go crazy. She had something to do. So we got to this place late at night because our flights were late. We had to drive a little ways to get there. And it was dark. Like there's no streetlights.
No streetlights. And there was only like 3 cars in the parking lot. So yeah.
We're a little nervous. We're like, oh my gosh, hopefully we can get into this place because it was
locked up.
It was locked up. But
Yeah.
they had sent us a code, so we were able to get in through the back door. And then they had left our key on the front desk.
And it was a real key. Like, who uses a real key anymore? But this is an old bed and breakfast. It had like a really cool looking key.
Well, and it's a giant mansion. Like it's kind of up on a hill a little bit. And as you look at it, it's got these great big columns in the front and it's huge.
Well, and it's like 4 stories.
Yeah.
So
With a giant, beautiful, like mahogany staircase that is a big double staircase that came down on both sides of the foyer. And it's fancy and beautiful. And because it's super rural, it was fairly inexpensive, which was nice.
so nice. Little creepy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. As we walked in, we picked up our key and we're like, okay, they just leave these things just laying down here. We're like, all right. So then we had to find our room.
Yeah, there was no one around. Like everything was dark. We had to kind of explore all the levels and try to find room 5. That's where we stayed.
Yep. So we walked upstairs and we literally just wandered around in the middle of the night in this old mansion trying to find our room.
And we're trying to be so quiet too, and we've got our big bags and we have to go up those staircases and we're trying to be quiet. Yeah, that's hard to do.
Yes. But eventually we found it and it was just beautiful, right? Knickknacks here and there and artwork and, just it was a beautiful place.
Oh, antique furniture everywhere. Just everything was gorgeous. These antique pictures and you could see the families that used to live there and the feeling was crazy. So the family that lived there in 1917 was the Byron family. And they had a couple of kids. And our room was tucked back kind of in this little tiny hall. Kind of weird because some of the rooms were really super nice. But our room was tucked way back in. And we thought, okay, this is cool because we can get some rest. And I was extremely tired. I wanted to rest a lot. Rest and work on my book and that kind of thing, just some downtime. But when we opened the door to our room, and it was all solid wood, it had an antique bed, queen size bed, and, antique lamps, and everything was just so beautiful, like a down comforter. And super clean, really teeny tiny bathroom and an even smaller shower. Really
Yeah,
small.
it had a small
like two of us
bathroom.
couldn't fit in the bathroom at once.
We were obviously like in the servants' quarters.
Oh, totally. But it did have a giant closet, like walk-in closet, and had a couple of robes in there for us and some slippers and that kind of stuff. So, but the closet was way nice. So the room was small, but we could put our bags and stuff in the closet and then just shut the door and we were good. So, classic Brad. He always has to go to the bathroom when we settle in.
We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are, because as
Oh,
soon
my
as we got in
goodness.
there, Brad had to go into the bathroom. So mind you, like
It'd been a long drive. I had to hold it.
It was a one-person room, so he shuts the door. And my side of the bed was like 3 or 4 feet from the bathroom door. Okay, so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I get the cold chills, and I could feel somebody was in the room with me, and the lights flicker, and I'm like, Brad, there's somebody in this room, and I can feel like they're watching me. And classic Brad, he's used to this, like, because I do this kind of stuff all the time when we go places. He's like, okay, I'll take care of it when I get out. So he comes out and he sages the room and tries to be really careful because we don't want to, set off alarms in the middle of the night. That would be so bad.
Yeah, could you imagine everyone waking up to the smoke alarm in the middle of the night? Is there a fire? No, it's just the weirdos in 5 saging their room.
So Brad sages the room. He goes into the closet to sage, and he felt something, like got the philo-erection that we talked about before.
Yeah, the hair stuck straight up all over my body.
And it's a classic sign with Brad. She'll show me his arm. You know he's into something. But he could feel something right there. So he saged it. We sent it out the room, and we went to bed after that. And it was a fine night for a couple hours anyway.
So once we got saged, everything was done. We're good, right? So we lay down in bed. We're reading, talking, and the closet door just slowly swings open.
And it doesn't just swing open a few inches. It swings open like a foot.
I'm like, what the hell? So I got up out of bed, walked over to the closet, shut the door, made sure it was latched, kind of pulled on it a little bit, and went and laid back in the bed.
Yes. And then it happens again.
Yeah. A few minutes later, the door just slowly swings all the way open. I'm like, what in the hell? No, this isn't going to happen all night long.
No. And this is after you saged.
Yeah. And so finally, I got up again. I'm like, we're going to try this one more time, just because the skeptic in me is like, there's something going on. The hinges are not on straight, and it's, maybe we're on a slant. There's got to be some reason it just unlatched. So I close it again, very firmly made sure it was latched, pulled on the door, made sure it wasn't opening again. I was satisfied. I knew, okay, if something else happens, there's paranormal activity. There's a ghost here. There's something touching this door and opening it, because it should not open. It is latched and closed.
Exactly. And then
it happened again.
I remember you saying to whatever was doing this, you were like, hey, we're not here to mess with you. We're just here to rest, right?
Yep. And I finally said, look, I get it. You want the door open. We'll leave the door open if you leave us alone.
Yeah.
We'll just peacefully live here together for a couple of days, and then we'll leave.
Right. So we kept the door open like a foot. It just stayed open.
It just stayed open.
Yeah. We just kept it open. And then we went to sleep.
But it didn't have any more problems, with the door after that.
No, not with the door. But after we'd been asleep a couple of hours, my back was to the bathroom. So mind you, it's just a couple of feet away. So my back's to the bathroom, and I'm like facing Brad, and something comes and touches my shoulder and kind of shakes me and asks me if I'm awake. And then I turn and there's nothing there. And so I'm like thinking, okay, so we left the door open. It probably was somebody that used to sleep in there, and they're coming in and thinking I'm someone else. And really creepy. But I still went back to sleep. And
she didn't say a word to me. She just...
I told you the next morning.
Yeah, not until the next
happened.
morning, not at night. You didn't say anything. You didn't think about it or do anything about it.
No, because I think at this point in time, things were happening to me all the time. It kind of was just like, oh, it didn't feel scary. So I was just like, I guess it's okay.
So next morning, she tells me, and I'm like, what the hell? And, just am checking with her to make sure she's going to be okay, because I have to leave. I've got to go to work. I don't have time to to deal with this stuff, right?
Right.
She assured me, yes, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go downstairs and write, so I'm not going to be in the room a lot. I'm like, okay, cool. So I, got my work bag, took off, and was gone for the day.
Well, and before you left, you'd shut the bathroom door and you shut the closet door so I could just sleep. And yeah, I was going back to sleep and Brad was gone. And you know when you get to that point of you're not asleep, but you're not awake and you're at that in-between stage, I was there. And all of a sudden I smelled that smell of sulfur. And at first I was like, was that me? Did I just toot? What's going on? My stomach's okay. I feel okay. That couldn't have been me. And I'm smelling it and it was just so nasty, so gross. And I'm just I cover my nose with my blanket a little bit, try to go back to sleep. And then all of a sudden I hear something underneath my pillow and my pillow lifts up. So my head is lifting up and I'm my eyes are wide open. I'm what the heck is happening right now? And then all of a sudden I start to feel something touch my chest and it runs down my breast and down my tummy and down to my hip. And I sit up and I'm oh no, you're not doing this. Freaked out. Somebody was totally filling me up, which
Perverted
isn't the
ghost.
first time.
Perverted ghost.
So yeah, I was no, you're not doing this. And funny thing is after I did that, the smell went away, the feeling went away. And then I was able to kind of settle down, which I don't even know how I settled after getting felt up. But really super creepy.
Well, and one of the things we had learned later, we started finding out more of the history of the home, is the area where we were at, our room in particular, had been the nanny's room.
Yes.
And the door where the closet was had actually led to the nursery, so where the kids slept. And so what we kind of started thinking was, well, maybe the spirit that was opening the door was, the spirit of one of these kids checking on the nanny. I need the door open. I don't know. That's
what it felt like. When we talked about it, it felt like that's what was going on.
Yeah. And then the perverted old guy, well, our thought there was maybe the master of the house had something going on with the nanny.
But when we learned, there was actually a Civil War cemetery right next door. So there's this haunted old house that was right next door to the bed and breakfast.
The house next door looked like Monster House.
Yeah, it was creepy.
It was so terrifying.
Literally philo erection throughout your whole body looking at this house. And we had to pass that house to get to the Civil War cemetery that was there. But what we learned is when we went to Gettysburg later is that when ghosts from the Civil War show up, you smell sulfur. So we're thinking that the person...
Well, explain why.
Well, it's because of their muskets that they would have to load them. And when they'd fire them, they'd smell like sulfur.
Yep. Because of the gunpowder.
Because of the gunpowder.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we're thinking that the ghost that felt me up and lifted my pillow was a Civil War soldier. And that's why I smelled the sulfur. So, yay, I didn't have an upset tummy. So creepy. So creepy. So in the morning, I went downstairs and the owners of the bed and breakfast, apparently they did not believe in ghosts or anything like that. But I let them know what had happened and that this place was really haunted. And the lady's eyes got really, really big. And she was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I'm thinking, you could tout this place as a haunted place, and lots of people will come and stay here because it is haunted.
Oh yeah, if they advertised it as the haunted mansion, which it was a haunted mansion.
Yeah.
Like I said, not as scary as the house next door. So the house next door, boarded up, it literally looked like something out of a horror movie, and you could just feel eyes on you as you walked past it on the street. It was creepy.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't stay in that place.
No, I wouldn't stay in that one. But the haunted mansion that we stayed in, yeah, they could tout that and advertise it as such, and people would come from all over to stay there.
It's true, but she was not having it. So, and the other creepy thing about the place is after breakfast, so they fed everybody, all three of us, breakfast in the morning.
All three of us.
And it was a really good breakfast, really, really good, really fancy, chef, the whole thing. But after breakfast, they all left for the day. So I was in this mansion alone.
Oh, that's right. It was abandoned pretty much, except for you.
Yeah.
which seems really weird that if you're running a place like that, you would just split during the day.
I think that they split because they know it's haunted.
They don't want to hear the guests complain about the ghosts.
And I was legitimately so creeped out as I walked around, and I was finding a place to sit down and be able to type my book and be able to get creative and stuff. And I found a place outside on this big, beautiful porch with the great big trees with the moss hanging down and the cicadas in the trees going off. And I'm settling in, and I even had some guy that doesn't even stay there. He came walking over, and I honestly couldn't tell you if he was a ghost or real, but we talked for just a minute, and then he kept walking, but he had to go behind the house to get to even where I was.
Yeah, because the parking lot was around the back, and where that back patio was, you had to go around the back into the parking lot to come to the house. So that's a weird route for someone just walking.
Exactly. And that's what I thought. And he wasn't someone that stayed there. So I never saw him again, but we talked for just a minute, and he wanted to know what I was doing. And I told him I was writing a book and kind of a little bit about my background. And he was just like, oh, super interesting. We'll have a really nice time. He left, and I'm like, I'm not even for sure if he's real or not, because there was literally no one around, no one. So
how peaceful.
It was a peaceful, easy feeling. No, it was creepy. It was creepy. I got some writing done though, and I did sleep a lot while I was there, so it's good.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience to go there and to stay at a haunted mansion.
Well, and then it didn't even stop there. So this was your second time to Hershey and to Gettysburg, remember?
Yep.
And I remember you telling me when you went to Gettysburg, there was a restaurant that you went to, and you actually, with your human eyes, saw a ghost.
Oh, 100% I did. Yep.
So tell me about that.
So yeah, the restaurant you're talking about, it was called the Dobbin House. And during the Civil War, it was actually used as a hospital. And so there's a lot of history there. And then afterwards,
No. Wait. This restaurant was used as a hospital.
Yep.
For Civil War soldiers.
Yep.
No wonder it's so haunted.
Exactly.
And the Underground Railroad?
And it was used with the Underground Railroad. Yep.
Yeah, because I remember when we walked in, you took me there. And when we walked in, there was an area where they had hid the people for the Underground Road. And it's such a small area. I was just, it would have been so scary.
Yeah, it had multiple uses. There was actually still areas where you could see bolt holes in the walls. So it was, history right there living among you. But I went there because I was like, this looks like a great restaurant. It had good reviews and I wanted a good meal, right?
Right.
So I went there. I'm sitting in my little table all by myself, and I'm watching, and I just see this lady in colonial garb and carrying a tray of something. I don't know what it was. Initially, I thought it was a waitress. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're all dressed up in era, costumes. But it wasn't, because she just faded.
You saw her disappear?
Yeah. Yeah. It was very cool. I was like, whoa, all right. And then I just kind of kept watching and, looking up in that area. I didn't see anything else. I didn't feel anything. It didn't feel creepy at all. It just was like, oh, just someone passing through.
That's amazing.
Doing their job.
That's amazing. And that's why you took me there.
Yep. And we didn't
really good
see
food.
anything when we were there. But
No. The food was really good, though. But we went to that place. Was that before or after Gettysburg?
That was before. We went there into the town, and then we drove out through the battlefields.
Yeah. And if you've never been to Gettysburg and experienced that battlefield, highly recommend. It's very somber. The energy is very heavy.
Somber is a really good word for it. It is.
You could feel, if you close your eyes and you just really feel into it, you can feel the fear and the sadness and the horror and everything all at once. And I remember doing that and just sobbing.
Yeah,
just absolutely sobbing.
It's very overwhelming.
Yes. Well, and previous to the Civil War, there was the American Indian War there as well. And so a lot of Native Americans were killed there on that same ground. So that ground is hallowed and extremely heavy. Very, very heavy.
Yeah, it was. Overall, a really amazing trip. just
Yes.
filled with
Such
emotions
history.
and history and lots of feelings and, experiences that just came across the veil to us.
Yeah. Such a unforgettable experience in such a beautiful area of our country. So highly recommend if you go and if you want to stay in a haunted bed and breakfast.
Yeah, we can give you the name. It's weird. Does shit like this happen to other people, or is this unique to us?
Hey, reach out and tell us if shit like this happens to you too.
Right? Like seriously, weird shit happens to us, and I don't know if it's just us or it's something about us that's attracting ghosts like a moth to a flame.
Oh, I think definitely because we're both pretty gifted. I think that things happen to us, but I think other people are gifted as well. And probably we aren't the only one.
Yeah. I'm sure there's other people out there who all of this same stuff is happening to. I can't imagine it not.
We need to go to some more haunted places this year.
I think we should. If you guys know of some place that's crazy haunted and you've had experiences there, let us know, because we would love to travel to some of these places and spend some time there and see what we can learn.
Yeah, we could take our podcast to these haunted places and let you know what goes on. And maybe take some of you, let us know if you'd be interested on going on a paranormal tour with us somewhere in the country. I'm thinking New Orleans would be really fun too. I'm drawn there.
A lot of history in New Orleans.
A lot of history and so much.
And vampires. I mean, that's where...
Voodoo. That's where our dog got her name, is Voodoo.
Yep. It's where all the Anne Rice novels are written. So
That's so true, right?
Interview with a Vampire.
It would be so cool to actually go through some of the plantations there and see what we feel.
Which vampire was sexier, Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise?
Oh, Brad Pitt every
Okay,
time.
good
I know
answer.
he's your
He's my hall
man
pass.
crush. Your hall. Oh my gosh. So what you're saying is you are gay.
I don't know, maybe for Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you would give it up for Brad
I
Pitt.
might, yeah.
I think anyone would give it up for Brad Pitt.
He's just so timeless.
It's true. But as he's aging, he looks just like Robert Redford, I swear.
I think he's a better version, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you, though. He's kind of like, he's probably an illegitimate son of Robert Redford. They look so much alike.
They do look a lot alike.
You could really see it in A River Runs Through It, where they were in the show together.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Wow, we just went
Hey,
off on a tangent there.
So do you want to grab some cards?
Sure. Here.
Okay, everybody has been asking us to draw cards. Brad started a thing. So we drew from the shamanic deck. Actually, Brad did. And the shamanic deck, it has an essence of the card, and then it has an invitation if it's upright, or medicine if it's upside down and it's upright. So read the essence and...
No, go.
Oh, so the card is lightning. So the formidable electrical discharge of a lightning bolt brightens the sky and strikes the earth, accompanied by a mighty sound of thunder. This phenomena has a positive aspect. The light illuminates the earth and the psyche. But there is a destructive side as well. The bolt can burn and even kill if it's too strong. So the invitation, because it's upright, is the forces of the upper world are investing their gathered energy to ignite you with a new inspiration and creativity. Allow this divine gift of awakening to take root in your being and enjoy a renewed sense of clarity, passion, and vision.
Cool. I like that one.
So sum it up for the week, Brad.
Renewed energy, passion, and vision. I think that's it right there.
That means you're all going to have a great week.
Yep. Just look at it with new eyes. Slow down. Enjoy what's around you. And don't be so focused on the end goal that you forget how amazing the journey is.
The journey can be beautiful, right?
And it should be. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are interested in supporting the show, you can do that through the show notes. There's a link to buy me a coffee. And you can also schedule a balance or a reading with Nanette, the Mormon Medium, through the link in the show notes as well. Her calendar is there, and you can just schedule directly without having to go through any crazy loops or hoops or jumps, or what would you call it? No bureaucracy. It's easy. Sign up. Come see her. Thank you so much. We appreciate all you do.
We love you guys, and thank you for your support and all your love. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions, please reach out to info@themormonmediumpodcast.com. And you have an awesome week. We'll see you
On the other side of the veil.